Let me show you a few examples quickly. So I'll skip over most of the slide deck. Just mention that we've been doing analytics and engagement for Microsoft platforms for about 14 years now. We're based out of Boston. Serve customers globally. So in the DC area, we have customers like the U.S. Department of State, DoD, National Institute of Health, and others. But really, so our goal is to shed light and show customers how tools like Microsoft Teams and SharePoint are being used with the goal of allowing customers to improve those tools and improve adoption once they have a better idea of what's going on. And so we see three pillars here. Monitor allows us to answer all those unknowns. Engage allows us to interact with users. So if we know that you're not active, Engage allows us to reach out to you and remind you that you can use Microsoft Teams, or remind you what you're missing out on when you don't access the intranet. And our goal is to help improve, help drive adoption, help customers become more productive with the Microsoft stack. But let me hop right into a demo environment and just give you a few quick examples for how our customers are using these types of tools. All right, I'll just switch screens very quickly. There we go. So the first thing is really to give the analytics details. We can really show, just as an example here in the middle of my screen, adoption by department. So, once the customers know which departments or branches or regions are not adopting as well, they then know who to offer more training and support to. Under content here, we can show, for example, if there's a specific site or subsite or many sites within SharePoint that are not being used at all. So just imagine a customer launches a new HR site and they find out, or they don't know that no one knows about it, and so they invest all that time and effort to deploy that wonderful new site, but they can't take action because they're simply not aware that it's not being used. Well, here we can show the customer, look, that new HR site or that new policy, no one has actually interacted with it. And once they get this information, they're really empowered to take action, to make improvements. We can show things around search. Many times our customers find out that everyone is searching for that same document, or in this case, benefits is the #1 search term. So now that we know that, adding a link from the homepage to employee benefits can save them a lot of wasted time. That will improve the overall satisfaction of tools like SharePoint and help to drive adoption as well. But that's, I would say, something that perhaps many analytics tools out there have, where we really give the advantages here under engagement. This tool actually takes all the data I showed you up till now and helps us take action. Let me show you an example here. Step one, I'll choose the audience that I want to interact with. So I can choose everyone in the company. Let's tell everyone in the company about the fact that we're launching Microsoft Teams, for example. But from our data, let's say we found out that our sales team is not using Teams very often, or they don't use SharePoint very often. Let's target just sales with some kind of campaign. But more than that, because we track all the users, I don't want to bother everyone in sales, just those that are inactive, the ones that haven't used Yammer or Teams or SharePoint for the past, let's say, 30 days. So only sales folks who don't use the platform, they're the ones who I want to target to drive additional adoption. So that's the audience. Who do you want to interact with? But next, how do you want to interact with them? So we can show them a pop-up right on the SharePoint page, for example. So an interesting case study that we have with one of our customers, they launched Microsoft Teams and they would email their employees telling them about Teams. But what they found out was that when a user is going through email, they want to get rid of their emails. They're not in the right mindset now to click on a link to take them to a different product and to try it out. Whereas when we showed a pop-up on the SharePoint page, like this one here, where it says check out the new HR site, instead they had here on SharePoint, don't forget to check out Teams, and it's only showing up for people who don't use Teams yet. Well, when they use SharePoint, they're more in the right mindset to try out Teams than when they get that email about Teams. So the question that we try to answer is, when is the right time and where is the right time or the right place to interact with users to get them to take action? But for our example, for sales folks who are inactive, we can send a targeted email to them or maybe a text message. And just imagine that we uploaded some wonderful new sales collateral for our sales team and they're out in the field all day. Well, with a quick text message, very targeted, just so the sales folks who did not yet view that content in SharePoint, they'll get this text. So the idea is in the data, we found out that our sales team is not very active. Here we're empowered to take action and drive that additional adoption to SharePoint, to Teams, or other platforms as well. Here we can ask whatever we want. So perhaps we want to get more feedback from users. What do you think about the new HR site? Or if we're about to migrate, maybe ask folks what's missing for them in the current HR site. And there's lots of call to actions here that we can use. Many of our customers use this tool to reduce the amount of emails they're sending employees. So instead of another email inviting them to a company event, you can just ask them or tell them about it right here. And of course, you can have one campaign follow another. So if I RSVP as maybe I'll get another pop-up tomorrow, and also clicked on yes, they will get a text message the evening before the event with a reminder about the event, its location, and all of those details. And finally, a trigger. So you can schedule the campaign or based on an action the user performs. So maybe when they're viewing the CEO blog site, they're going to pop up asking, what topics do you want the CEO to write about? Or a better example, even failed search. So just imagine someone just searched, they're viewing the results page for, let's say, more than 60 seconds. We have a feeling they're struggling to find what they're looking for. That's when we'll show them a pop-up after 3 seconds and ask them what they were trying to find. So in other words, we're asking the right question at the right time to the right user to give us the best feedback on how to improve search in this case. And as we improve things, customer satisfaction goes up and people are going to want to use SharePoint and other platforms more when they're happy with the way that it's working for them. So that's really what our organization is all about, understanding what is going on within SharePoint and Teams and Yammer, but then more than that, leveraging that data to drive adoption, to help with change management,